Welcome students. Today we are going to second part of the Biological Diversity Act 2002. Myself Professor A.S. Rathod, Department of Agricultural Botany, Kekewa College of Agriculture, Nasik. This is the structure of Biodiversity Act 2002. In that the National Biodiversity Authority, then State Biodiversity Authority, that is the SBP, and the Biodiversity Management Committee, that is the BMC. These all three, that is the authority, board, and committee, are looked together to work for the conservation of the biodiversity. In the chapter third of that acts in the NB National Biodiversity Authorities formation provision is involved. The National Biodiversity Authority was established by the central government in 2003 to implement India's Biological Diversity Act 2002. Then National Biodiversity Authority is a statutory body, means the authority is formed by the in the parliaments with the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Then it performs facilitative, regulative, and advisory function for the government of India on issue of conservation, sustainable use of biological resources, and fair and equitable sharing of benefits arising out of the use of biological resources. The head office of the National Biodiversity Authority at Chennai in state of Tamil Nadu, and NBA may, with the previous approval of the central government, establish offices at other places in India. So this is the member structure of that authority. In that the chairperson, Dr. V.B. Mathur, from the IFS cadre. Then ex officials in 10, means these are the 10 number. Then non officials means the expertise or the different resource persons from the different NGOs and the different other institution or the firms. They are engaged in the conservation of the biodiversity. Then these are the members from the different ministry from the government of India. Ministry of Tribal Affairs, one member. Presently, Srimati Nivedita IFS. Then Ministry of Environmental and Forest, whom one shall be ADG or DG level members. Vishwanath Sinha from the IS cadre. Then Additional Director General Mr. A.K. Srivasthan, it is from the IFS cadre. He is from the IFS cadre. Then one member from the Ministry of Agriculture, Research and the Education. One member from the Ministry of Biotechnology, Dr. Renu Soru. Then from Ministry of Ocean Development, Dr. P. Madhava Swaram. He is the background from the Earth Science. Then one member from the Ministry of Agriculture and Cooperation, so Dr. Atana Parkyasta from is the IS cadre person. Then from the Indian System of Medicines and Homeopathy, Sri Jitendra Sharma, he also from the IFS cadre. Then Department of Science and Technology, Dr. B. Harigopal, and from the Department of Scientific and Industrial Research from the Ministry of Science and Technology. Then in the IBD Acts, in the section 11, the provision for the removal of members from the authority, the adjuncts as insolvents. Then offences of moral turpitude. Then the physically and mentally incapable person also they should remove from the authority. Then abusing positions, then financial or other interest. So these are the different we say different parts by if anyone involved in that they should be removed from that authority. Then section 13 of the act say that the Committee of National Biodiversity Authority, the National Biodiversity Authority may constitute a committee to deal with agro biodiversity. For the purpose of these subsections, agrobiodiversity means biological diversity of agriculture related species and their wild relatives. Then section 22, state biodiversity board, in that with efforts from this dates that the state government may appoint for the purpose of this act, board for the state to be known as that is the that is the Maharashtra biodiversity boards, as like the different boards are formed for the each state. And we all remember that the member positions in that, the one chairpersons and the 5 ex-officials members and the 5 members from the among the experts in matter related to the conservation of biological diversity, means for the formation of the state biodiversity boards, means for example in that the Maharashtra biodiversity boards, if this is the one boards for our state, in that the one chairperson, 5 members from that the ex-officials, and then the 5 members from that the experts from that is the subject matter specialists. Okay. Section 36 also importance, it say that the duties and functions of the states and the central governments. Then conservation of biodiversity in the different ways, that is in situ conservation and then the ex situ conservation. In that the in situ and the ex situ, they distinguish in that in situ conservation means the conservation of that the different genetic diversity, species diversity, and that the ecosystem diversity at their own place or at their origin where actually it form or actually it originated. That is the biosphere reserves, different scarce and the grows, and that the lakes for that the equatorial ecosystems, for the world heritage sites of that the in the different countries are also the examples of that the in situ conservation of that the biodiversity. Then different national parks, wildlife sanctuaries, then the tiger reserves as also the examples of that the in situ conservation of that the biodiversity. In that the second part, the ex situ conservation means the conservation of that the different plant species, different animals, and that the different organisms out of their habitats, out of their origin or out of their home place. Means the conservation that is the artificials, that is the scared plants home gardens, means that in that the gardening there is the different plants we have carried from that the different places, and we have to place in that the home gardens. Then seed banks and then the gene banks, cryopreservations under the minus 196 degrees Celsius nitrogens. Then botanical gardens, zoological gardens, and the aquaria. So these are the ex situ conservations of that the biodiversity. Then section 41 of acts, in that the formation of that the biodiversity management committee, we seen the state biodiversity board, then national biodiversity authority, and now this is the last part of that the structure. This is the biodiversity management committee. The committee work under the supervision of that the NBA and the state biodiversity board. Okay, the every local body shall constitute a biodiversity management committee for the purpose of promoting conservation, sustainable use of documentation of biological diversity, including preservation of habitats. Then conservation of plant races, folk varieties, and then the cultivars, domesticated stocks, and then the breeds of animals, and then the microorganisms. Means biodiversity management committee work on the local basis at the village level or the tahsil level, and it is for their purpose the committee is formed under this acts. Then in acts they define the what is mean by cultivars, what is mean by folk varieties, and what is mean by land races. Means cultivar means a variety of plants that has originated and persisted under the cultivation or was specifically bred for the purpose of cultivations. Then folk varieties means cultivated varieties of plant that was developed, grown and exchanged informally among the farmers. Mean locally in that the village level there is the exchange of that the different planting materials, and that is called as the folk varieties. The land races, these are the main primitive cultivars that was grown by ancient farmers and their successors. Means year to year the same varieties grown by the farmers up to from their pedigree or from their ancestors. Then National Biodiversity Authority and the State Biodiversity Boards shall consult the Biodiversity Management Committee while taking any decisions relating to the use of biological resources and knowledge associated within occurring within the territorial jurisdictions of Biodiversity Management Committee. So this is the penalties and punishments as per the acts. These are the community conservation areas in the India. That is the sacred mangroves, then the community forestry, UXAMs, then traditional tanks, turtle conservations, arbory sunset, grassland management, likewise. This is the map that shows the biodiversity in India. Himalayan region, Chilka Sarovar, that is the Sundarbans, Western Ghats, and then the Thar deserts. The north to northwest, north east region, there is the Himalayan region, then Chilka reservoirs, then Sundarbans, in that the West Bengal, Western Ghat, in that the western region of that the India, from that the Gujarat to Kerala, then Thar deserts in this state of that the Rajasthan, and then the some parts of that the Gujarat also. The conserving agriculture biodiversity by the different people's initiative, Beach Bachao Andolans, Deccan Development Society, then Seva, Antra, other different NGOs also who engage in the conservation of that the biodiversity. The Beach Bachao Andolans. Thank you. By this way, we have completed the topic of the Indian Biological Diversity Act 2002. Thank you.